It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I could blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track, but we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag. Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I could blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track, but we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag. My studio sessions turn into fireworks. These reptiles on me like a Lacoste shirt. Plain Jane, make your eyes hurt. Fuck a sponsor. My mission to give it your price, but without the concert. Pandemic showed me I could get it off the muscle. I be grinding year round. Y'all be waiting for the summer. I just fill the gaps. Don't need a light for the tunnel. Y'all looking highly disgruntled. I use the mic for my hustle. Dog, I came up, triple beam changed up. Built the team, serving up the fiends through the screen. Living out the dream. Still independent, don't need the red tape. Game green, cut the dead weight, that's my headspace. Yeah, I've been a boss, I just now embraced it. Feeling in W9s like an application. Strong mind, advantageous, planning vacations. I put my dogs in the business like I'm Baron Davis.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. In this particular video, we're going to be getting into Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, and his SA accuser victim, Miss Jennifer Hough. All right. Now, there's a lot of talk circulating online about a possible settlement that is, they're saying it's been reached. I'm seeing something a little bit different. That doesn't mean that a settlement is not in the cards, but the information that I'm seeing doesn't necessarily indicate that the case has been settled. All right. For those that may not be all the way refreshed with this, I don't talk about this situation very much on my channel because I'm actually waiting for the actual resolution of this case before I really weigh in on it. But I have been seeing a lot of people that are saying that this matter has been settled. They're in settlement talks, but not necessarily settled, if that makes sense. All right. Now, going back to the beginning, right? Because again, I haven't really spoken about this situation all that much. So I'm just going to do a quick recap of what brought us here, right? So Petty was convicted in 1995. That's Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, was convicted in 1995 of SAing Miss Jennifer Hough, who appeared in an interview with The Real in, 2021. And she talked to them about the situation, right? She put out a lawsuit for defamation and witness intimidation that she filed against both Kenneth Petty and Nicki Minaj. She said she's been living in fear after allegedly being threatened by their associates. The $15 million lawsuit was filed in August of 2021 in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York. It alleged that for months in 2020, Nicki Minaj and her husband and their associates were pressuring her to recant her 1994 allegations against Kenneth. The suit cited witness intimidation, intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress, harassment, assault, battery, SA, and SH as in harassment. Okay? At the time, she claimed that she was offered up to $20,000 to take back her allegations, claimed that she spoke directly to Nicki in March of 2020, and ultimately refused her and her associates offers to backpedal on her story. Okay? Her attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, who is not the most reputable attorney that you could possibly find, right? That doesn't mean that her story is not credible. It just means that his credibility has been very much questioned. He claimed that the offers deteriorated into threats against Miss Hough's safety. Okay? She says what they did to me and my family wasn't okay. It wasn't right, and it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what your status is. You can't intimidate people to make things go better for you, and that's what they did. Huff also detailed the defamation allegations with the Daily Beast, which was one of the first publications to give her a platform. Excuse me. At the time, Kenneth Petty's lawyer declined to comment, and they hadn't filed a response as of yet. Now, much has happened since then. It's been 4 years since all of this came to fruition, right? So they say Nicki Minaj first dated Kenneth Petty when she was 16 and living in Queens, New York. The couple wed in 2019 after reportedly being back together for about a year. They welcomed their first child, a son, in 2020. When Hough learned that Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty started dating, she said she was so afraid of being found out. Now here at the time, they marked their ages as Nicki being 38 and Kenneth Petty being 43. Remember, this is back in 2021. So she claims that if she first started dating Kenneth when she was 16, he was 21. Just going off of how age works. Okay? Now, Miss Hough says, I was so afraid of being known as the person he violated, and I didn't want that. It's Nicki Minaj, you know. I didn't want that to reflect on my children, she says. Additionally, when Petty's criminal history came to light on social media, Minaj addressed criticism online by saying that Petty was only 15 at the time and claimed that he and Hough were in a relationship. She says they were not. Okay? Jennifer says it was like reliving it again because it was a lie. It wasn't true. We both were 16. We were never in a relationship. She said it felt woman to woman. That was wrong of her because I don't know you and you don't know me to know that statement you put out to the world, her followers, they all believed it. It hurt coming from another woman. Okay? Hough alleged that Petty, whom she knew from their neighborhood, as aid her before school in September 1994 after encountering her at a bus stop, putting an object in her back and forcing her into a house nearby. Petty, who initially denied the charges, was subsequently charged with first-degree rape for allegedly S.A.ing Hough at knife point at his residence. He took a plea deal and was convicted of the lesser charge of attempted first-degree blank in April of 1995, according to the New York State's S.O. registry. He went to prison for about 4.5 years in the late 1990s and served some time for a separate manslaughter case from 2006 to 2013. Okay? So that is the basic backdrop of what it is that we're discussing here. Now, again, information is circulating online of people speculating, saying that there was a settlement. So let me go ahead and pull up what it is that people are using as their source. Pardon my logo in the corner protruding into some of the text here, but it states, this is as of July 31st, just a couple days ago, 5:20 p.m. settlement conference, which means that there was some sort of settlement conference. Minute entry for settlement conference proceedings held on the 31st before Magistrate Judge James R. Cho. Appearances by Tyrone Anthony Blackburn for plaintiff, Stephen David Easer for defendant Petty. Plaintiff also participated. The court held off-the-record settlement discussions with the parties. The parties are far apart on settlement at this time, but encouraged to continue discussing settlement privately, okay? So they're trying to come to some sort of agreement, probably the amount of money, okay? Because as I dug into some of the records in the docket, Jennifer Hough and her legal team have been probing into Kenneth Petty's finances. They've been trying to figure out how much money he's been making since about 2017. The judge said, hey, I'm not going to let you go that far. So they went into the records from 2020 up until the present, right? They wanted his tax returns and stuff like that. The judge said no, but they did want for him to report how much money he was making and where that money was coming from. And I believe Nicki Minaj has been claiming him as her security or management, something within those realms. Like he works for her, right? So they're trying to come up with a number that will be enough to go ahead and get this case past them, right? Because this was filed 4 years ago. Okay? The discovery schedule entered on the 7th of last month remains in place. Telephonic status conference scheduled for October 31st. So they will have another status conference on October 31st on Halloween at 10 a.m. before Magistrate Judge James R. Cho. Disregard that phone number. Adjournment requests will not be considered unless made in accordance with this court's individual rules. And just for clarity, adjournment is basically postponement or encroaching into the scheduling, like having to move the dates. Right? So this is what's been being circulated on social media, and people are saying that Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty have privately settled with Miss Jennifer, right? But as it states here, they're having off the record settlement discussions. They're trying to come to some sort of agreement. Now, I went digging into the filings again, and I found something in the previous minute entries that I found interesting, because it basically gives you an outline of what's to come, I guess, if no settlement is reached at this time. So back on July 7th, about a month ago, this was their minute entry from the previous meeting. Okay, minute entry for status conference proceedings held on July 7th before Magistrate Judge James R. Cho. Appearances by Tyrone Anthony Blackburn for plaintiff, Stephen David Easer for defendant Petty. Status of discovery was discussed, because there are some discovery issues, things that needed to be turned in, right? The court grants plaintiff's request for an extension of the expert discovery schedule as follows. Plaintiff's medical expert disclosures are due by the 8th of this month, okay? August 8th, Jennifer's medical expert will have to report, okay? And I guess report their findings. Defendant, as in Kenneth Petty, his medical expert disclosures will be due by the 8th of October. And medical expert depositions shall be completed by October 29th. Plaintiff waives her right to serve a rebuttal expert report or take a deposition of defendant's medical expert, so they won't be relitigating whatever the results are. Brief off-the-record settlement discussions held. In-person settlement conference scheduled for the 31st, which is the meeting that we were just reading the notes about, at 1 o'clock in courtroom 11D South before Magistrate Judge James R. Cho. Counsel for all parties and plaintiff shall appear in person. Defendant may participate remotely and shall be readily available by telephone throughout the conference. By the 24th, the parties are directed to submit ex parte settlement letters by email to chambers at Cho Blase Blah. The ex parte settlement letters shall state 1. The status of settlement discussions. 2. The last demand and offer made, if any. 3. The strengths and weaknesses of the case. And 4. Any information that may assist the court in helping the parties resolve the matter. The parties are encouraged to discuss settlement prior to submission of the ex parte letters. The ex parte letters shall be limited to 3,500 words, not including exhibits. If the case does not settle, an in-person status conference is scheduled for November 4th, 2025 at 11 a.m. in courtroom 11D before Magistrate Judge James R. Cho. Okay? So if they are not able to come to an agreement within these private matters of them discussing, it's not on public record what their offers are looking like, offers and demands. But if they cannot come to a settlement, then they will have another conference on, as stated, November 4th, right? So, although I know a lot of people are eager to see what's happening, and I know a lot of people were counting down the days to the 31st for that status conference for the settlement. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's not really bad news. It's just the bearer of truth. Is the case has not officially been settled. They're trying to come to a settlement, and when that settlement is reached, we'll report on it if there's anything disclosed publicly about it outside of the settlement, because a lot of times they don't tell you how much money. But we'll just have to see, you know. And the only reason why, again, I'm talking about this is because I've seen a lot of narratives saying that this is over with. And it's not. And I think even when it comes to the victim, Miss Jennifer Hough, I think it does her a disservice by saying that this has been basically closed and put behind her when she's still actually actively going through it and trying to come to an agreement. So I do wish her the best in that. She's been, fighting this situation for 4 years, trying to get justice from the harassment, reliving all of this stuff. So there's that, all right? Just wanted to go ahead and clear up a little bit of the misinformation that I've been seeing circulating, because it's been circulating pretty heavy. I mean, Nicki Minaj is a very polarizing person. Not too many people on the internet rock with Kenneth Petty, understandably so. Believe I don't. But at the same time, I just want this stuff to be spoken about accurately until it is finally resolved. All right? Is that fair? Cool. All my legal professionals out there that tune into the channel, be sure to let me know down in the comments how you're perceiving this stuff, if I'm hitting the marker here. But otherwise, let me know what y'all think down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one, all right? Y'all be good out there. Much love and respect. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. But I study this shit on my almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they died of me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross some out, came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.